What's happening, guys? This is James Blonde, this time with a first look at a hybrid game from the Russian game developer Nival called Prime World. Now, this game is part MOBA, part resource gathering, and part castle building game that the developers like to call a RPS, a role-playing strategy game. Now, Prime World has been released in Russia for about a year now and has seen huge success. So the game here, as you see it, is in sort of a pre-beta for the North American version, and I got exclusive access, so I'll spend some time showing off the game, talking about the various elements and what makes it what it is. So this is where it all happens. This is the first thing you see when you start up the game, your castle. Now, mine is all nice and built up here because I've got a press account with tons of resources, but that's exactly what you do with this part of the game. You build up resources, and those resources ultimately get you talents for your champions, and additional champions in general that you use for the MOBA part of the game. So like I said, this is set up a lot like a resource gathering game, very similar to the mobile game Tiny Castle, if you're familiar with that, and that you spend time for resources, then spend resources for other resources, and eventually making your heroes unique and powerful through these talents. So let's take a look at some of the various buildings we have here. Over here we have the warehouse, which is made for storing farmable resources, namely food, ore, and wood. As you can see, I have way more than the warehouses can actually carry. Your farm, your mill, and your mine are the most basic ways to acquire these resources, and like everything else, they are set on time. For example, if I want to start my mine's production, I can choose how much ore I want to produce based on the time and the price of silver. And obviously this is set up so that way it's active when you're offline, because if you want this much ore, it will take this long to produce unless you pay gold, which costs real money. And as you get more resources, you can upgrade your buildings to change their production output, but the exchange in currency changes as well. Alright, so moving on. So we can check out the construction tab here to see all the structures that we can make, all of which have unique purpose. The residence here, for example, increases your castle's population, letting you have more buildings. Here is where you find your farm, your mine, and your lumber mill, and these are what allow you to begin the process of getting talents for your heroes. The manufactory produces silver from wood, and silver is used as currency and is also what you need to purchase champions and other things as you level up your castle. Of course, you level up your castle by progressing in the game. Everything you do goes towards leveling, winning matches, gathering, completing challenges, and so on. So the next resource to talk about is Prime. It's an element in the game that is used for a lot of various things associated with the MOBA side of the game, but you also use it here in with the Prime Distiller, which creates prime crystals from ore over a long period of time, if you don't have gold, of course. From there, you build a talent forge. Now, this produces the talents for the heroes from the prime crystals, and as you upgrade it, it'll produce talents faster. The good thing about talents coming out of the talent forge is that they're all special, rare, or legendary. None of them are actually common. You can get talents by completing tasks like winning a certain number of matches or leveling up your hero to a specific mastery, but the talent forge is what drives players to produce talents this way. So that way, you log into your game and you've got a special to legendary talents waiting for you to collect. Okay, so let's talk about heroes and talents. These are all the current heroes I've unlocked. I think there's like 32 total, but I've got 9 so far because I'm a level 9 castle. The first champion you get in the game is Firefox, and when you look at the hero's stats, they have more stats than you might normally be used to in other MOBAs. These stats here on the left coordinate with the ones on the right, so agility and cunning directly relate to attacks per second, penetration, and crit chance, and so on. The game has the typical archetypes for MOBA games, and they also have skins that you can choose that you have to spend gold or real currency for. So keep that in mind. There's nothing here that produces gold except your wallet. With that said, the only purpose for gold is unlocking skins and speeding production. The interesting part about the skins is that some of them actually change the gender of the character, which in turn changes the way some gender-specific talents work in battle. Another thing that's weird is the name of the champion changes as you switch the skins, which I think is odd because it seems like that would make it even harder for new players to become familiar with their enemies. Okay, as for talents, all of the heroes have set talents that you can see here. And talents essentially take the place of skills as well as items in League of Legends, for example. These 4 down here are the action skill talents, which you also see here in the skill tree, so to speak, and these are the upgrades to those skills. Talents with boxes are active talents, while the others are passives. And so some of the champions may have 4 action skills, others may have 3 or less, and some might even have more. I don't know, I haven't seen any that have more yet, but this is the sort of customization you can work with within the game and the talent system. To give you an idea how creative you can get with this, it's pretty neat. Now these here are the talents that you receive. Like these are the ones that I have stored that I've already gained so far. And if I wanted to change out this hero's talents, all I have to do is assign it to him just by placing it on the tree somewhere. This one happens to have an open slot for a talent, so that's a little bit, you know, and they're not always going to be like that. The idea here is to see what attributes are important to the hero, indicated by the check marks. Then you find a talent that may be better than the talent that is currently in that tier, whether it's an increase in stats or a more rare version of that talent, or whatever it is. It's really your choice. If you want to make a tanky hero more tanky, you can. This is where you have your champion builds, because like I said before, this replaces the items you're used to buying in a MOBA match. Like League of Legends, you can't just purchase items. You're going to do that right here. But as you see, as we'll get into the MOBA part of the game, these won't be given to you along a specific path in an order. They do go up in tiers, but they cost prime, like you see here. In a match, the max level is 36. So from the looks of things, there are 6 tiers, so every 6 levels you gain access to the next set of talents. But if you want to go back and purchase talents from the lower tiers, you essentially want to tweak your build in the game accordingly, you can do that. Oh, and once you place a talent on a hero, then it's actually assigned to that hero. You can unassign a talent by paying a little bit of a currency. I guess this just keeps you from removing like all the good talents of one hero and putting them on another, or you know, something like that. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's check out the other half of the game. Let's get into a match. And here we are. So I chose the skin alternative to the Lightning Master as the champion. It's the Thunderer, which happens to be the female version. And here you can see it's suggesting my first ability, which is Thunderclap. It's kind of like Thor's hammer. But if I wanted to, I could choose my other ability by clicking my Prime bottle down here and selecting from what I can afford with Prime. I'm just going to go ahead and go with Thunderclap because it works out good. Alright, so here's the shop. This is where you'd purchase things like consumables, energy potions, healing potions, and things that allow you to see like through the fog of war, things like that. It's your typical things that you find in the shops other than regular items. Now this right here is the playground, which is essentially a mini game, and it's kind of weird because a player can get in the mini game, only one player at a time, and you can help out the rest of your team by winning the mini game. You get these scrolls, and you can allocate these scrolls to your team that give them kind of an additional skill or whatnot. I'll show you a little bit more about that later. Alright, so here's the towers, here's your armory, which produces your minions. There's the minions. And this is what I want to show you. This is actually a very unique part of the game. So I can capture this flagpole, and what this does is this gives me native land. And native land, see, that's actually pretty cool looking. Native land gives you special abilities, but it also it gives you battle advantages, and I'll talk about that as I get my next skill. But I'm gonna go ahead and capture these. It's really cool the way it looks, though. I like the visual aspect of what it does. Everything's all dead and whatnot, and then you claim that. And if the enemy claims it, it looks nice like that, but you can't do certain things. So alright, so now we're engaging some enemies, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can sneak some kills. Now, we're in a bot game. I apologize, but it makes it a little bit easier to show off some of the game's elements. These guys are pretty much retarded. Okay, so when I capture this, here's another flag. It's kind of in the middle here in the river. This is going to continue my native land over to this area. So I'm actually going to try to get away from here to show you what I'm talking about. Kill these. Hopefully my partner here will take care of that guy. He's not going to be a problem. Like I said, these bots are really, really stupid. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and... Well, I didn't get the kill, but I was going to try. Alright, so Lightning Bolt here is my second ability. And when used on native land, so everything I capture with these flags, this particular talent deals 50% damage towards enemies near the target that I hit. So I'm going to go with that one. But I also have a little extra prime left over. So I can actually spend this on this, or I can save it to get to the next tier. I'm going to go ahead... See, okay, actually, here's one of the talents that I was telling you about that actually is gender-specific. I'm going to go with this one just because it's going to give me a little bit more health and strength. And we're good to go. See, I'm actually level 5 now, so that's faster than you normally would see that. But that's mainly because I've already killed 2 champions this early in the game. And I'm about to kill another one because, like I said, these guys are dumb. They just come and feed. it's very important to actually last hit minions in this this game, because you get a lot more prime that way. And since prime is very is essentially gold, like you'd find it in any other MOBA. You get prime by killing minions as well as champions. You get a lot more prime by killing heroes versus minions, obviously. But prime also gives you experience, and then when you use your talents, when you actually equip your talents, you get experience that way. So it's all kind of a mutual sort of a circle, and that's the best way I can explain it. It gets a lot more detailed than just that, but yeah. So I mean, this game is pretty complicated if you haven't noticed by the whole castle building aspect of the game. All right. Oh, see, that's actually the same champion as I am. Either that or you had the same skill. There's two factions in the game, by the way. I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's two of them. The Imperium and the Keepers. And now I'm the Imperium, and obviously these guys are the Keepers. And so they have their respective champions. They are very similar looking. Nope, getting hit by the tower. Alright, so since it's early game, I guess I'll go back and I'll show you the mini game, just because it won't really make a difference this early on. And these bots are stupid enough to actually win the game rather quickly, because the bots on my team are a lot better than the bots on the other team for some reason. There's no really way of controlling that. But one thing I'd like to show is that the map is actually huge. It's a lot bigger than most MOBAs that I've seen anyway. I mean, like, it takes a pretty good chunk of time walking from one into the next, so keep that in mind when you're playing. That may increase the time of matches. Alright, so the mini games, they're set up a lot like Zuma or Luxor, those ball shooting games. And what you do first is you pick a scroll, like this one here creates an area that increases the strength and intellect of allies and decreases the strength and intellect of enemies in a certain area. This one restores the hero's health over a certain period of time. This one here deals great damage to enemies around the hero. This one blinds enemies around the hero, and this one here creates a double of the hero. Now, the game is still playing in the background while we're doing this. It definitely doesn't stop, obviously. So let's go ahead and do this one here. This one heals a little bit, and we'll check it out. Now, yeah, it looks corny, but it's actually kind of fun. I've never really played a game like this before, but I can see how it can be addicting for grandmas and little kids. I don't know, I'm just kidding, but it's interesting that you're playing a mini game in the middle of your MOBA match. It seems almost I don't know, counterintuitive, I guess, because you're like, wow, I should be out in the middle of the lane, like, gaining a bunch of gold or something, but I'm actually still leveling up. I'm still gaining prime, which is I just leveled up one of my abilities just now. And look, see, somebody's walking around, and the game is still going live right now, so they're still getting kill streaks and things like that. And like I said, you're helping out your team by doing this, because once I get this, once I beat this little mini game here, I can allocate that script or the scroll that I'm doing to another player. So if I'm playing with friends or whatever like that, and they want me to hop on and play the mini game and say, hey man, get me some health, or get me something that's gonna dominate my enemies. I plan on doing this. Then I can go ahead and do that, and at the same time help my team that way. Alright, so I got it completed, and for this, just for the example, I'm going to go ahead and take the scroll for myself. I can actually allocate it to myself, but and see, I actually gain these rewards by playing. So I got prime, I even leveled up. So I can send it to whoever, but like I said, I'm going to give it to myself, and I can keep playing, or I can get back in the match. I'm going to go ahead and get back in the match. See, now I'm level 9. So I leveled up, and I'm not too far behind the rest of my team, but I still got enough prime here to just get another passive and level up my skills. So I went ahead and chose that gender-based passive. That basically what happens if one of my ally enemies, if they're the opposite gender and their health falls below 20%, I'm gonna kill this guy real fast. It's ridiculous. If their health drops below 20%, then I create a shield around them, helping them out, which is pretty good. So that's a kind of a neat passive. It's team-based passive. Now I got my third skill here, which is basically a kind of a getaway skill, but it does hurt them. Essentially what it does is it allows me to get away. It increases my movement speed, and it creates like this field of electricity that goes behind me. I'll probably find a way to use it here pretty soon. So at a certain point in the match, they'll start making a little bit better minions that can actually lower and raise flag, or actually, I think they just raise the flags as well to create the native ground area. And see, that flag there is actually the other team's flag. What the heck is this champion doing over here? He's not actually... What? We're taking his tower and he's sitting there shooting our minions. Yeah, these guys are retarded. So that's one thing that's in the game that I was wondering. There's no sort of denying minions in the game. I know that's something that's really popular, but the developers were saying in a stream that they would rather it be a little bit easier for people to play and not have to worry about that sort of thing. It is important, like I said, to last hit minions, just because you're going to gain that extra prime. Alright, so I've got my, essentially what would be my ultimate. It's not, there's not really ultimates in the game, so to speak, that I've been able to tell, but this one here will allow me to create a lightning storm and hit for a pretty good amount of damage. Alright, so I used my, my little health scroll there, and what it did is it put this little fairy above me, which is kind of interesting, and I guess she is, or it is, regenning my health. Yes, so by quite a bit actually. So I'm gonna be able to regen here, and that's nice. I don't know how long that lasts because it doesn't indicate, but that's pretty cool. I'm all for it. I don't know if it just goes until I'm full or what. All I know now is that I'm a lot less afraid of these guys. Not like I was in the beginning, but I'm just going to go ahead and kill both of them really quickly and get my health back. Nice. So you actually get awards and whatnot for getting those sort of achievements like domination or multi-kills and whatnot. So, but yeah, my latest ability, Rage of the Skies, which is the one where I create Thunderstorm, that actually targets all of the heroes on the map and for a decent amount of damage. And if they're actually located on the native ground, then it reduces their speed by 80%. That's crazy. So that brings them like down to a crawl. So I can be across the map and use that ability if they're like about to take my my base and slow everybody down, because my base is obviously on the native ground. So that's one reason why you want to keep up with the native ground aspect of the game. It's pretty important, because who knows what some of the other abilities are capable of doing when they're on native terrain. So another thing that's unique about the game, I still have my little fairy, is the portal. So I can actually put a portal anywhere and go there. I can portal back to, say like if I want to portal over here, I could do that. I can portal back to base and heal. Or if I'm close enough, I can walk, and then when I'm done, I can just, you know, teleport instantly back where I want to be. And it does take a little bit, like, for example, it takes a little bit to go, and I canceled it because I don't really want to use it right this second. But, man, we're almost into their base. This is crazy. And they're right here. So yeah, that's an interesting feature. I guess it's a little bit similar to Here's a New Earth, in that you can kind of teleport where you choose. But actually, you can only teleport in this game on native ground. So if you don't have native ground in that area, or if the enemy is like kind of consumed it, and you can see on the mini map there, like the blue is you see how it looks like the fog of war, but it's kind of a hint of blue. That's all of our native ground. So pretty much the entire map right now. Okay, so down here on 5 and 6, I actually have, you've noticed I've got this little pet that's running around me. The pet is basically just cosmetic, and I've got the little kitten out. And the way you get those is you purchase a building that's in your castle that gives you those pets, but it also sort of gives your hero stats as well. So, like, I think having the combination of the dog and the cat houses gives your newly bought champions kind of a head start. It makes them a little bit higher ranked, and you can actually assign some skills to them and whatnot. But it does take quite a bit of resources to be able to purchase those dog or cat houses, and you have something to show for it, which is the little pet that you see running around here. And I can choose whether it's the cat or the dog, because I've got both. There are other buildings that you can purchase that benefit your champions directly, that like increase their int or their agility, or whatever it may be. But I think you have to be like the castle level 21 in order to get those. All right, see if I can. I'm gonna go ahead and teleport. Well, no, I can't do that because I'm in the middle of a fight. But I was gonna go ahead and teleport back. But I'm actually not really worried about these guys, even though I'm a little lower health. My fairy's gone, though, so I guess I should be a little bit weary, but we've just about got this match. I guess what I'll do is kind of head that way and see if I can teleport back if I need to. Yeah, these guys are, they're kind of mad, so I'm going to get out of here. So there's my little, like, runaway, and see, it actually hurts them as I go past them with the little electricity fields behind it. See if I can make my way back towards... Oh, nope, we won. And that's it, guys. That is Prime World. It's sort of a weird take on a MOBA game with a castle building game kind of attached to the front of it. It's different. And with the customizable talents, I can imagine the game is a balanced nightmare. But then again, I feel this is more of a casual player's MOBA with no intentions on esports level competitiveness. The game is even designed so that you can attach your Facebook account to it, so you can actually have your friends farm your resources for you, or even specialize in a particular resource if you set up a clan with them, and then trade. So that's another neat aspect of the game. And if you're not already addicted to games that have you farm them constantly, from what I've heard on their website, there's actually going to be a mobile app for the game that allows you to manage your castle when you're out and about and away from the game, like from your phone or your tablet or whatever it may be. So hopefully, guys, this gets you a good feel for Prime World. No word on when the beta starts yet, but with all the explaining I did in this video, there's still tons more to the game. So be sure to check out the deeper coverage on the game with Dizzy PW's article, and I'll put that in the link in the description below, so check that out. As well as get more information from the game at MMOHut.com, the game profile. Hopefully soon, MMO Hut will have beta keys for you guys to get in and try it out yourself. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.